Alright guys, I've been wanting to make a video just because we're right at that time, but I haven't really been, I have nothing to go on, and I've made so many videos already talking about my biggest speculations, but I'll just do a little bit of an update for general hype so we all get hyped together. But I'm also just doing this update just to reiterate my opinions and just to kind of just to chat. So first things first, the thing that I'm speculating on that I really think is actually true and possibly going to happen is I think the character is going to come out in June. Now we're in it's May 29th today I'm recording, but it'll be June in 2 days basically. Well, 3 days I guess. And E3 is on the 12th. And a lot of companies are just kind of pretending E3 is going on right now. We've seen a lot of news and announcements for games. And I mean, Sony just had their state of play and all that stuff. So I mean, I think it's about time we're going to see some stuff. I mean, some people have been speculating that we're going to see the announcement for the new Nintendo Switch model before E3. I'm not sure. I feel like it'd make more sense to show during E3, but if you want to show before E3, I'm not going to stop you. But I think it would make more sense to show during. But people have been speculating that the new Switch model will be this year. So I don't know what that means. Other than Breath of the Wild 2 might be on that thing, and that'll be cool. Because Breath of the Wild does have some hiccups and frame rate issues, but typically it's only in handheld mode. When it was in the stand, I think it was fine. But to talk about Smash, I think the character will be this month. When we look at Sephiroth, I think the Sakurai Presents Sephiroth, that happened really quickly after the reveal at the Game Awards. And that same day, you could play as Sephiroth as long as you beat him in a boss fight. When it came to, Min Min and Steve took a little bit of time after the fact, Sephiroth was right after he was announced. And it's been one character per season. And Steve was the character for the fall, Min Min was the character for summer, and Sephiroth was the character for the winter. And then Pyra was announced during February, and I was like, okay, so it'll probably be towards the end of March or something. And no, we got Pyra literally the next week. We got Pyra literally March 3rd or something. It was right then and there. It was so fast. We got her. And I'm thinking it'll be the same thing where it'll be we'll have this character come out the day of. I can't remember if Pyra came out the day of or a day later or something, but it'll be like that. It'll be this character comes out the day of, get hyped, get ready to play. Yeah. And however, I'm talking about the day of the Sakurai Presents, not the day of E3 when the character's shown off in the reveal trailer for the first time. I'm thinking they're gonna show off the character during E3, and then we'll have a Sakurai Presents very soon after. So that's what I'm thinking. Am I thinking it'd be 2 fighters? I kind of think it would make more sense to only show 1 and be more reserved because there's only 2 left. And I think that because Nintendo will be revealing a new console and Breath of the Wild 2, there's no real need to make all the hype surrounding Smash Bros. I don't think Smash Bros is Hero and Banjo was a different story. I mean, I think Hero and Banjo kind of stole the show for E3 that year. And I mean, the year that Smash was announced kind of stole the show for E3. So I think that they don't need to rely on Smash as much because they're going to have Breath of the Wild 2 being revealed and possibly other games. I mean, a lot of people are speculating on a new Metroid game, whether it be Metroid Prime 4 or just a new 2D Metroid. A lot of people have been speculating that they'll do a remake of Super Metroid because they remade the original Metroid with Zero Mission. They remade Metroid 2 with Samus Returns on 3DS. And so they could possibly do a remake of Super Metroid from the Super Nintendo on the Switch with modern graphics, but still 2D. I would buy it. I love that game. I've beat Super Metroid 2 twice in my life, once on an emulator and once on Wii U. I would love to play it again, though. I mean, that game's great. I have no problem playing it again. Love that game. So, especially if they remade it like that. So, that's what I'm thinking right now. I don't think they need to rely on 2 characters. And also, it's like I said, it's the last 2 of Smash, period. Not the last 2 of this pack, but it's most likely the last final 2 characters. So I'm thinking there'll be 1 character reveal this time. You know, it's not when we had that double reveal going on, I remember I used to say this would be perfect, this would make so much sense. And I was right. A lot of us were right. A lot of us were thinking they'd show 2 characters at E3. And yeah, we were all right. And this is the same deal. It just makes a lot of sense this time to only show one and save that final character for later. However, that means that this character they show is probably going to have to be a big deal. Now, who they show, I mean, I don't know. I don't even want to start talking about that yet. I want to save it for the end of the video because I have no good ideas to go off of. But I will say I think it'll be the definitive things I think for sure going to happen will be there will be a Smash character. Because honestly, we probably should have had one revealed by now because it's the very end of May and June's coming. It's been about that time. It's been about that time since like a character was announced. Like it doesn't take that long usually. Like after Steve was announced, Sephiroth didn't take that much longer. I remember thinking it felt like it was so early, and Pyra happened right after. I feel like I barely even got to see much of Sephiroth gameplay action before we moved right on to Pyra. So, in fact, I feel like I'm still just now learning new things about Sephiroth, while I'm just now learning a bunch of new things about Steve as people are really enjoying Steve online. So, I mean, it's about that time. It's about that time for a new character if we compare it to the last two that were revealed. So, them waiting for E3 makes a lot of sense. And I think that character will come out very soon after E3. It's just about time for a character. That's all there is to it. Though I wouldn't mind waiting longer because I think Sephiroth and Pyra are both very fun characters. I think Smash is in a really great place right now. But also just like it is fun when a character is revealed and we just get to like spend a whole week just thinking about how cool the character is and like wondering how he's going to play or how she's going to play and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see who it is. If it's a bad guy, I would love if they did another boss challenge thing, but I think they're going to do that only for Sephiroth, because Sephiroth's his classic mode is a boss rush where he fights other boss characters. Like Sakurai put an emphasis on this, that Sephiroth is a boss character. He's a bad guy. He's a villain, which is like it makes sense because he is the big baddie of Final Fantasy VII. He's very intimidating and threatening, and he's also a secret boss in Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. And so he's definitely treated like a boss character, and that's why he fights other boss characters. So to me, I don't think they're going to do another bad guy. I think Eggman is not going to happen. But I've thought that for a while, that he's probably not going to happen. I think if he's going to happen, it would be in a new Smash game. I don't think he's going to be in... Just because Sonic's anniversary just happened, I don't think that means anything. I think there's not going to be any more Sonic characters. But yeah. So that's what I'm really certain on, is one character and this upcoming month in June. That's all I can say. And it's probably going to be very soon after the reveal. Now we get to the more speculative stuff where I really have no idea. This is when we talk about the characters. Now there's been that rumor for a long time that they're on this website, this official Nintendo website, the URL codes line up in a certain way that matches the first season of Smash DLC content. And Piranha Plant, his URL code was one number before Joker's, and then, of course, every season character was one number before the next one. It ended with the costume of Rex for Smash, which was a free thing you got if you bought the full pass. Instead of just buying all the characters individually, if you bought the full pass, you would get that too. This time, however, the first character basically, right after that, it's like different things. And then the URL code that starts for this next season starts with Min Min, and it doesn't really just like end with the Mii Fighter and then go right to Min Min. There's like other stuff for some reason. However, the Min Min one lines up with the next character, which is Steve, and then Sephiroth, and then Pyra, and then there's a blank one, then there's another blank one, and then another blank one. And then there's the ancient armor from Breath of the Wild for the Mii costume. So the Mii costume is after the two characters, just like Rex, but there's a third empty spot there, which is kind of confusing because you would think if there was another announcement, it would be after the Rex URL code, which is why a lot of people are thinking this is a new character that you buy separately. I was thinking maybe a character would come with an Echo Fighter, but even that would be kind of strange because that wouldn't need its own like purchase site. Because if it came together with the same thing. It wouldn't need its own link to purchase. So I kind of have been wondering about that, if I've debunked my own theory that it will come with an Echo Fighter. I think if the final character came with an Echo Fighter, that would be the perfect way to end the Fighter Pass, because Echo Fighters were a new addition to Smash, and a lot of people have been wanting Echo Fighters. But the thing is, I've always thought like it would be weird if they just released a character that was just an Echo Fighter, because for lots of different reasons, I feel like they did all the Echo Fighters they wanted to do in Smash for those characters, and if they were going to add in any more Echo Fighters, it would have to be with a DLC character, and like it has to come with a DLC character. But then that comes with the other weird thing is, if they release a character with an Echo Fighter, it kind of casts a shadow on the original character. And we saw it with Simon and Richter, how no one really plays Simon. People kind of all gravitate towards Richter for whatever reason. Maybe it's just because they like Richter's design more. Me personally, I pick Richter because I have more like love and nostalgia for Richter than I do for Simon. Even though I've played Castlevania 1, and Castlevania 1 is the only classic one I've beaten. I never beat 2 or 3. I did beat 4, so I guess that's another Simon game I beat, but I never beat 2 or 3. I played 3, I never even tried to play 2. But the other Castlevania game I beat was Symphony of the Night. So Alucard is my favorite Castlevania character. Of course he is. And apparently Sakurai almost put him in the game. So I would love it if in a sequel to Smash, Alucard is playable. Or if you do that, you better make my boy Zero playable as well. But anyway, yeah, Alucard is fucking badass. Okay, but what I'm saying is when it comes to Castlevania, most people don't really care about Simon as much as they care about Richter, and I could see how that could work. You know, I could see how if you add in a new DLC character, it'd be weird if you did put all this time and work into a character just for people to play it as the new Echo Fighter more. It seems to be people don't really pick an Echo Fighter if it's their own personal preference. It seems to be people pick the Echo Fighter that they just play better, like the actual better character. So when it comes to Simon and Richter, when it comes to Peach and Daisy, people with those just pick their favorites. Daisy was a good addition because a lot of people still prefer Peach, and so Daisy's just a good option for people who prefer Daisy. With Simon and Richter, it kind of backfired because a lot of people seem to just prefer Richter. With Ryu and Ken, though, and with Chrom and Roy, and Marth and Lucina, and even Samus and Dark Samus, it did benefit in a certain way because a lot of people do pick the character that they think they play better as versus any other reason. The problem is that most people just pick Lucina over Marth, and most people just pick Roy over Chrom, but there are those players who do pick Chrom and Marth. When it comes to Samus and Dark Samus, I think that's another example of most people I see just always pick Samus. I never see people play Dark Samus, and I think it's because most people just think Samus is cooler, but also I'm pretty sure Samus is a little bit better for some reason. I think Dark Samus is just like a little floatier and weirder. I don't know. I seem to play just fine with both, but I feel like I always do better with Samus, and I never really know why. I do know that Dark Samus causes a little bit extra hit stun with electric-based attacks, and the way they jump is slightly different, and Dark Samus is slightly floatier, but both are very floaty anyway. It's hard to explain, but I feel like I always do better with regular Samus compared to Dark Samus. I don't know why. I can't quite explain it. But I always just stick with normal Samus for that reason, but also because I don't really think Dark Samus is even that cool. I'm glad I said it's in the game. I guess it is an it. I don't know if it's a she or an it, but I'm glad Dark Samus is in the game, but yeah, I really, nah. So when it comes to Echo Fighters, if they released a new character with an Echo Fighter, people would most likely just pick the one that is cooler or the one that's actually better. So the best example of an Echo Fighter, I think, in Smash is Ryu and Ken. And if they released a new character, I think it would be good if they made a character similar to Ryu and Ken, where Ken has a different speed, he has different normal attacks, his B attacks are slightly different. There's a lot of differences between Ryu and Ken, but they still have the same, like, builds. They still have the same character models, weight and height and stuff like that. They share a lot of the same animations, even though a lot of the other animations are different. That would be your best bet because Ryu and Ken actually have very different strategies for how you use them, similar to how they're used in Street Fighter. So that's the best example of Echo Fighters, though Most people still prefer Kin, but the people who take the time to learn to play the Shoto characters actually do pick a favorite. Now, I prefer playing as Kin. In Smash 4, I think Ryu was amazing, but Ryu is really slow in this one, and I don't get as much use out of his Hadoukens, whereas Kin and his Shoryuken and the way his Tatsu works, his speed, everything. Oh, and I like the way his Smash works too. Everything about Kin just kind of adds up for me to where I think he's just better in literally every way. I don't feel like there's a trade-off. I know some people just do prefer Ryu for their own reasons, but I do like Ryu's Tatsu in the air and stuff like that. I think his Tatsu's a great get-off-me move, but I kind of like Kin's Tatsu for combo potential. And I think playing as Kin's very fun for his combo potential because Kin Shoryuken can kill people very early on. So having the very fast combos is very good. I mean, imagine if a character like who was really fast and did a lot of chip damage had at least like one reliable kill move that was super easy to execute. And that's Kin, and that's why Kin's a very dangerous and fun character. And then they released Terry Bogard anyway, who's better than both Ryu and Kin. Yeah, making the whole thing worthless, but I still would like playing as Kin. I recognize that Terry's better, but I still enjoy playing as Kin a lot. So if they were going to introduce a new character with an Necro Fighter, the only one I can really think of that makes sense and could actually work, there's two of them. The problem is, I think one of them's already deconfirmed, and that's a Resident Evil character. As much as I would love to see Leon and Jill in the game, and I think they would be better than any other choice I could possibly think of right now, I just don't think it's going to happen because of all the Resident Evil spirits. Now, I know that Min Min made it kind of is proof that you don't need to worry about the spirits. However, it's just, I think it's rather sad because they released those Resident Evil spirits like after they already announced that there was going to be a Fighter Pass 2. To me, I feel like the reason they did that is because they knew they weren't going to use Resident Evil later. I don't see why they would do that. You know, it's like when you look at Sephiroth, they specifically didn't have any Final Fantasy spirits. When you look at Byleth, they specifically didn't have any Three Houses spirits. So when you look at these other characters who already have spirits in the game, it just makes you say, like, I just don't see it. Whereas with Min Min, it's a little bit different because they might not have known they were going to put an ARMS character in. When it comes to Pyra and Mithra, they might not have decided yet how they were going to execute that. I mean, it really seems like they thought they weren't going to do Xenoblade 2 at all because Rex was put in the game as a Mii fighter. And I don't think they would have done that if they had known for sure Pyra and Mithra were not going to be a DLC or were going to be DLC. If they knew that Pyra and Mithra were going to be DLC, they probably wouldn't have done things the same way. Now, both ARMS and Xenoblade 2 got new spirits whenever their characters came out, as well as stages of music, of course. But I just don't see it happening for Resident Evil. But it's not like it's the most impossible, but I just feel like, why would they have done it the way they did it? To me, to be completely honest, with the sheer amount of Capcom Mii fighters, it just makes me feel like they're not going to do a Capcom character at all, because if they were, they wouldn't have done it so many other times. All of the Mii fighters were Capcom related this last time when Pyra and Mithra came out. So to me, again, it's just ridiculous. Now, I do understand that a lot of the Capcom Mii fighters are returning Smash Bros. For Mii fighters. So it's not that crazy, but I mean, literally none of them are being saved for another Capcom character, not even the Monster Hunter ones. Like, it's just crazy to me. But we haven't seen any new Capcom... Well, we did see King Arthur. We saw Arthur. But we haven't seen, like, Resident Evil Mii fighters, so maybe there's still a chance. I think Resident Evil would be perfect for Mii Gunners. I mean, imagine if Chris and Jill were Mii Gunners. That would be amazing. But we still haven't seen that yet, so... It's not like Capcom's completely deconfirmed. They do have to get out the rest of the Capcom Mii fighters from Smash 4. But you would think they would, like, all of them have been revealed so far. So at this point, there's only going to be one returning Mii fighter, and that would be Lloyd. That's the only one left. So I don't know when we're going to see him, probably with a sword character. But when it came to Pyra and Mithra, they just showed Monster Hunter stuff, so I guess it doesn't really matter. Lloyd might be the only one not shown because he's going to be a playable character, and that's this next idea. I think if they're going to do a character with an Echo Fighter, the most likely idea would be Lloyd with Yuri, because both are from the Tales of games, and both would fight differently enough to warrant actually having an Echo Fighter, but you could still give them the same build enough to make it so that way they do have an Echo Fighter. So this could be the best case scenario for having different characters who play with Echo Fighters. Now, again, I would rather have anyone else. While I did want Lloyd in Smash 4 back in the day, it was mainly because I thought if we had to have a Namco rep, this would be the best one. I never really wanted Lloyd as a DLC spot. I kind of just wanted him to be in the base game already. In fact, it's kind of crazy he's not in the base game, but I don't know if I'd get as excited for DLC versus him just being in the game already. But when you think about it, a lot of these DLC characters have been characters that probably should have just been in the base game. Like, Sephiroth probably should have just been in the base game, and Steve would have been a pretty big deal if he was in the base game. And a lot of people were speculating, including Virgibin, that he was going to be in the base game, which makes me think that Virgibin was on to something when he said that, because, you know, he ended up being in the game eventually. A lot of people speculated that Steve was going to be in the game. A lot of people leaked that Steve was going to be in the game, and he finally came. And when we know that Steve was in talks for 5 years, it makes sense that people were getting that leaked information. So, whether it's has been real or not, I don't know. But Virgibin had a pretty good track record. So, either way, one of these leaks that did also mention Steve and Sephiroth also mentioned the idea that Chun-Li might have been in the game, but I think they said Ken replaced her or something like that. And then they also said something like, basically they got everything right that eventually was revealed. The only things they got wrong were Chun-Li, Lloyd, and Yuri, kind of suggesting that Lloyd and Yuri were going to be a package deal together anyway. So that would have been really cool. I love the idea that there's like this secret build character versions of Chun-Li and Lloyd out there that we just haven't seen yet, but like the dev team got to experiment with, and before deciding, we don't know if we're going to add them in or not. But it's probably more likely that they just had these names written down somewhere or something like that. But to me, it does make sense if Lloyd and Yuri were packaged together as some sort of Echo Fighter deal. But I kind of think, as of now, that that's not going to happen. What I think is going to happen is, if there's another Echo Fighter, it'll be for another full game. And I think Lloyd and Yuri will finally have their time to shine in a new Smash game. Whether it be whatever it's called, whatever system it's on. I don't think it'll be on the new Switch, because I think the new Switch is going to be more like a more powerful version of the Switch, not so much a new console with exclusive games. I think it's just going to have games that work better on the new version of the Switch. I don't think we're getting a new Nintendo console quite yet. So I think I think we're going to see like just 2 more characters. What that final page is, what that final URL code is, I'm baffled by. I'm kind of honestly thinking what it's going to be is just Waluigi. The reason why is because, like I said, I don't think they're going to have its own separate URL page for an Echo Fighter, because the way it would make the most sense to me is that you would get both the fighters together. It would be stupid to make you pay for just one of them. I mean, imagine, if you will, you could buy the Echo Fighter and not the original version. Like, if you could buy Ken and not Ryu. That would just be crazy. That just doesn't make any sense. So I think what would really happen would be that we would get, like, I think if they did an Echo Fighter, it wouldn't have its own URL page. I think it would come with a character. Now, I hope they still do an Echo Fighter, but I just don't think they will, because the only 2 options I can think of, besides like Crash and Coco, for example, and honestly, I don't think Coco deserves an Echo Fighter. I think if anything, it would be like a Player 2 costume, but even then, that doesn't sound right. I think what we'd get is I think if we did an Echo Fighter, it would have to be like Resident Evil character or Lloyd. And so I just think they're not going to do that, because I don't think Lloyd or Resident Evil character will be one of these 2 final characters. I think the final 2 characters are going to be a little bit different from that, but honestly, I'm having a hard time speculating on who I think it'll be. There's no super definitive character that I think 100% will happen. Now, Papa Gino's has been speculating a lot about Master Chief lately, and that would be amazing. That would make me raise my fist in the air and scream out, yes, 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 if we got Master Chief. That would be amazing. That would be so good. Even if I don't play him that much, Snake is probably my favorite video game character ever. Metal Gear Solid is just like the best thing ever to me. I just think it's the coolest video game franchise ever. I don't know if it's my absolute favorite, but I think it's like the coolest fucking game I've ever played. I love all 5 of the Solid games. I love that series. I love Peace Walker as well, not as much. But Peace Walker set up something really cool that eventually was in Metal Gear Solid 5. So I love all the Metal Gear Solid games. Those games are fucking awesome. I love Rising Revengeance as well. And so having Snake in the game, hey man, that's good enough for me. It doesn't matter if I like to play him or not. Just having him there, I can't complain about anything. Like, that's the character. If Snake never came out in Brawl and we were in the same boat, I would be saying Snake for Smash, Snake for Smash, you know? And I can't think of anyone else at this moment because we have so many incredible characters. The fact that Snake is in Smash in the first place is crazy. You know, we have Snake alongside all of these other characters. I forget he's in the game sometimes, but we totally have Snake able to fight Joker. We totally have Snake able to fight Bayonetta. It's a wild, awesome world we live in. Cloud and Snake can be a tag team together, fighting Banjo and Steve. Hell yeah. So, I love the world we live in right now. And I don't know who the last character will be, but Master Chief would be the last one for me where even if I don't like playing as him, I would just be so fucking happy. I would just be so ecstatic. But also, I kind of like playing as Zoner characters, and he could possibly have some really good up-close moves as well. So he'd end up probably being a character I really enjoy, and he'd probably have a few mechanics that are exclusive to him. What I always used to say, and I think I made this in a If Master Chief was in Smash video back in the day, is I would love it if, like, the Needler was a part of his moveset, and it was like his neutral B or his forward B or something. Or maybe even his down B, I don't care. And the way the Needler worked was like, if you shot someone, it would put the percentage up, but they would do no flinch damage, similar to Fox's laser. Like, if you just shoot someone with Fox's laser, it puts their percent up, but they can just run right at you. So what if with the Needler, if you hit them with enough needles, it would cause an explosion, which would be the same as a smash attack. Or just like something that was high damage. Maybe not a smash attack, but maybe something similar to like if Samus's charge ball hit you, it would just like explode you, and and you don't exactly die. But what if it was like that? But let's say the needles eventually, just like in actual Halo, the needles break off. So you only have like 10 seconds to make sure all of your needles hit your target, and they can block it. So what if they did something like that, where you could do massive damage, but instead of having like a charge-based attack, you could just run at them while shooting and chase them down with the Needler and try to blast them, And there could be some cool moments where you hit them with a bunch of needles, knock them off stage, and then hit them with more needles as they're off stage, and then they explode off, similar to Sephiroth's forward B. So I think that would be an interesting and cool, unique mechanic only for Master Chief if they made his character based around the Needler. They could also do stuff like characters like something like with the plasma pistol charge blast. Like the plasma pistol in Halo knocks off all of your armor. So maybe if you get shot with a plasma pistol and it's but only when it's fully charged, the next attack you take will do more damage to you, but obviously you only have like a 10-second window before you can really wail on them. So they can make Master Chief this character who does a lot of damage to you, like small damage to you, and then that could lead to big rewards for the player. They could do something like that with Master Chief. Combine that with the energy store. If they made that like his forward B, and he just fucking slices you, that would be really cool. And of course his up B could be like a rocket jump, like something like that. Because I think Halo wasn't the first to invent the rocket jump. I think TF2 is one of the early examples I can think of, but like Quake did it all the time. Arena shooters were always doing the rocket jump. So it'd be really cool if like Master Chief could just fucking take out his rocket launcher and blast himself higher in the air, and then anyone under him gets like massive damage. That'd be really cool. And then besides that, I don't know, because maybe Master Chief will never happen because his moveset is too limited because he's a shooter. But I've always thought that Master Chief has a lot to go off of, the way that Halo looks, the way that he fights in cutscenes and all this stuff, like, and all the comics based on Master Chief, it's not like it's impossible for him to be in Smash, especially not at this point with Microsoft and Nintendo being so buddy-buddy. It could happen, and it would be amazing. I just think that after Steve in this pass, it's very unlikely, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. And it's not like Sakurai doesn't think we don't want him. Like, Sakurai has probably known we want Master Chief for a very long time now. It would be a huge shocker. It would be a huge surprise. It could easily happen, but there's a lot of huge characters that could be a huge shocker that could easily happen. Crash is in that same realm, who's more believable, which is why I've been going with him for a while now. But I'm not so sure. I'm just not so sure if Crash will be in Smash. But, I mean, it's not like he's not an icon. It's not like he wasn't a huge deal back in the 90s. So, it's not like he doesn't deserve it. I just always thought that Crash didn't deserve it over a lot of characters. And then those characters all got in Smash. Now that we have Banjo and we have other characters as DLC, I'm at this point where I think we're ready for Crash. I think we can handle having Crash in Smash. So, let's see if we have a Crash Bash in Smash. And we thrash. Alright, no more of that. So yeah, like I said, I don't really know the last characters are going to be. I think the E3 character will be a big character. I think it's only going to be one of them. I think Ryu Hayabusa still has a huge chance because, again, I've said this many times, but he doesn't have any spirit or anything in Smash at all. Really? I mean, you guys can clown all you want, but Rayman has a spirit. You know, the rabbits have spirits. Ubisoft characters have spirits, and they're close with Nintendo. Companies that are close to Nintendo get things in Smash. You know, there's still Persona spirits. There's and there were Atlas spirits even before Joker was in Smash. So why? And there was a bunch of Square Enix spirits as well. Octopath Traveler and Trials of Mana. And Capcom got a bunch of spirits. So where is the, where is the spirit for Ryu Hayabusa? That's blows my mind. It just doesn't add up to me. So to me, I feel like he's very high on the charts. It's not just because of Team Ninja and Nintendo's relationship. It is also because of that factor of how is there nothing for Hayabusa yet? That blows my mind. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see. But it might not happen. It might not happen. It would be damn cool if it was Hayabusa and Master Chief, the Xbox boys together. When I think of Hayabusa, I do think of the original Xbox because he was on the original Xbox. That was the first time we saw his 3D hack and slash version. So yeah, it would be the Xbox boys. And also, Hayabusa and not Master Chief, but a Spartan were both playable in Dead or Alive 4. Not Master Chief. It was actually a female Spartan, but she was huge, just like Master Chief, and wore the same colored armor as Master Chief. She was playable alongside Hayabusa in Dead or Alive 4. It was the only time this character was ever in Dead or Alive. Only time there was a crossover character like that, like a Spartan character. Every other character that was a crossover character with Dead or Alive so far has been from another Koei Tecmo owned game, aka Ninja Gaiden, aka Dynasty Warriors, or any like Warriors franchise in general. And also other fighting game characters like Virtual Fighter and King of Fighters have had characters appear in Dead or Alive games. But the Spartan character appeared in Dead or Alive 4. And so it'd be kind of cool if the Xbox boys were back together, That'd be cool. But I don't know if I see that happening. But it would be cool. Because then you could have stuff like Cloud and Snake, who were PS1 boys, I should say, versus the Xbox boys. Versus a team of Nintendo boys, like Link and Mario together. That could be fun. But yeah, it is what it is. I have no idea who the last character is going to be, but I do think if we get any other fighter, it won't be an Echo Fighter. I don't think that idea is realistic anymore. I think that if we get a bonus fighter that gets his own URL page on that Nintendo website, it will be Waluigi. I don't think they would do any other bonus fighter at all. Because I think if it's a bonus fighter, it would mean it would not come with a stage, not music, not spirits, or anything. The same way Piranha Plant was, just another character, it would be Waluigi. It has to be Waluigi. It can't be an Echo Fighter. It has to be Waluigi. So, who's it going to be? I don't know, but we got 2 fighters left. possibly one more, but I'm kind of thinking it's only going to be, I don't know. I really have no idea. But Sakurai has been saying there's only going to be 2 characters. I don't think he would lie. I really don't think that's not the way hints work. Like a hint or a troll isn't straight up lying. It's like, see, I didn't lie because I said blah, blah, blah. And if he says there's only going to be 2 characters left, then that's a lie. So I don't know. But there's got to be something in that bonus speculation. Like, what is that bonus URL code? What is that? I have no idea. I have no idea. So here's hoping Master Chief is in the game, and hell, here's hoping Sora is in the game or something like that. Honestly, I don't think Eggman or Chun-Li is happening, but I would love that more than most of these other characters. I would love Leon the most, but I don't think we're getting Leon either. So it is what it is. Hopefully these last 2 characters are baller. Hopefully we do get something that's worthy of being revealed at E3. We'll just have to wait and see. And yeah, E3 is coming around the corner. This is like my last ditch effort to speculate on things. I'll see you guys on June 12th. Have a good one.